Center. The Angels are in town to take on the Blue Jays. They won 4-3 last night with a run in the 9th inning. Dino Ebo is the acting manager. Mike Scioscia is away from the ball club. He should return tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the Angels lineup. Top of the order. Eric Aybar had a big game last night. A 3-hit game, and he scored the game-winning run in the 9th. Albert Pujols, his career numbers against J-Happ are good. 5 for 19 with a double and a home run. He's driven in 4 runs. And then down in the order, the catcher, Chris Iannetta, has hit .400 against the Blue Jays with 4 doubles and a home run. He's driven in 8 runs in his career against the Blue Jays. And the Angels are set to take on J-Happ.
J-Happ's making his 2nd start. 3 games out of the bullpen earlier this year. He started on the disabled list, but was able to get his first start against his old team. Held the Phillies scoreless through 5 innings in a 3-0 win.
Happ is set. Aybar is in. The switch hitter batting right-handed against the lefty Happ. Here's the first pitch of the game. It's in there for a strike, and we are underway. Aybar, we mentioned, he had 3 hits last night, pair of doubles and a triple. Scored 2 runs and scored the game winner in the 9th. There's a drive toward the alley. Steve Tollefson making his first start in right. Gets tested right off the bat. Let's take a look at that defense. A little bit different look today. Melky Cabrera's, he's in left. Jose Bautista's in center. Steve Tollefson is making his first start in right, as we mentioned. The infield, it's Francisco at third, Reyes at short, Getz at second, and Encarnacion at first. Eric Kratz gets the start behind the plate, and he'll help J-Happ manipulate his way through this lineup.
See Steve Tollefson making his first career start in right field. Tim Leeper giving him some instruction on how they're going to line up defensively for each hitter.
Mike Trout takes his strike. Trout hit his 7th home run last night. It came in the 3rd inning, a leadoff home run, a shot to center field. Mike Trout, one of the premier players in baseball. This is his 2nd full season. Fouls that back. Or this is Trout's 3rd full season. He came up and really put things together the last couple of years. He's finished 2nd in the MVP voting in both of his last 2 seasons. Good pitch inside, but it's off the plate. It's 2-2.
I've noticed the game calling of Eric Kratz already in his limited starts this year. He likes to call the fastball inside. We've seen J-Happ trying to come in there a couple times already. So we'll see if that continues throughout this lineup. He's going to have to do it against the big boys from the Angels.
Breaking ball, and Trout gets a piece of it. How often do hitters play off the catcher?
Well, and that's the thing. The longer catchers are in the big leagues and the longer hitters are in the box against them, you do. It becomes that chess game, and it's hitter versus pitcher. But we know a lot of times the catchers call him the pitches back there, and most pitchers are going to go with what he puts down.
Another 2-2 pitch. Fights it off. All those pitches are inside.
You can see Trout fighting that fastball off. J-Happ getting up to 93 miles per hour right there. Most good hitters, most power hitters, believe it or not, don't like the fastball hard in. They like the ball out over the plate where they can extend those arms, and that's what produces all the power.
Ball away, and he fouls it into the seats.
When you get hitters like Mike Trout at the plate, you've really got to mix it up. You have to change speeds. You have to mix both sides of the plate, and you've got to change the plane as well, up and down.
J-Happ making just his 2nd career start against the Angels. He strikes him out. Good inside fastball. He foul tipped it into the glove of Eric Kratz. 2 outs. This is how you want to face Albert Pujols. Nobody on and 2 outs, and the machine is back on this date a year ago. 238, 287 this year, and his OPS is better. Numbers, the home runs have doubled, and he's driving in runs once again.
Albert Pujols is healthy again, and that's what happens. He's got a proven track record, what he's done in his career. His age is creeping up on him, but continually to be a threatening hitter.
Goes after the first pitch. Bautista back. Looking at the wall, makes the catch. Jose Bautista starting in center. Ran it down on the warning track. 3 up, 3 down. Jay Happ, a nice start to his game. On the end of the bench to congratulate Jose Bautista for a nice play to start the ball game. Allison gets a test in his first start in right. Bautista ran down the drive of Albert Pujols. Let's take a look at the Blues. The heat up at the top of the order. Melky Cabrera has been hot all year. His last 20 games, he's hit .365 with 2 homers and 11 driven in. And right behind him, Jose Bautista, great protection with a left-hander on the mound. .379 average. He's doubled, hit 3 home runs, and driven in 4 against southpaw pitching. And that's what they'll deal with today with young Tyler Skaggs.
Tyler Skaggs making his 7th start of the season. Today marks his first start against the Blue Jays and his first ever start against an American League Eastern Division team. Last time out, he got the loss. His worst start of the season, actually, only going 2 2/3 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. But he had been very good before that. One of the steadiest Angel starters, a strength of the club.
Reyes batting right-handed against Skaggs. Top 2 in the Blue Jays order are switch hitters. As a first pitch strike. What's the approach for the Blue Jays facing Skaggs for the first time?
Well, anytime you haven't seen a pitcher much before, I'd be looking for the fastball. In the old hitting philosophy, look for the fastball and adjust to the off speed. Tyler Skaggs has got a curveball over the top and a changeup. But you look early, don't miss the fastball. It's going to take a few innings, time through the lineup anyway, to see what exactly he has and what the ball's doing. You see hitters in the dugout talking after at-bats, especially with a pitcher like this they have not seen much of.
Reyes behind 0-2. Downstairs. Tyler Skaggs was a first-round pick of the Angels. He was a supplemental pick taken 40th overall in 2009. He's just 22 years old. Skaggs took too much time for Reyes and he asked for time. Chris Iannetta is behind the plate today. Bouncing ball over the mound. Howie Kendrick coming in from second makes a nice play. Reyes is retired. Take a look at the defense for the Angels. Few changes. Grant Green is in left field. Mike Trout's in center. Colin Cowgill is in right. John McDonald, a former Blue Jay, starts at third base. Ibar and Kendrick up the middle. C.J. Cron is the first baseman. And Chris Iannetta is back behind the plate.
John McDonald's just a manager's dream out there. He just says, put me in, coach. Play me anywhere. He's just one of the best guys in the game, former Blue Jay, and what a nice little career he's put together. A long time.
Starting at third base, the regular third baseman David Freese is coming back from a broken finger on the disabled list. Melky Cabrera. He takes a look at that first pitch upstairs. Mentioned his last 20 games, he has hit .365. 31 hits in those 20 games. There's a strike. It's 1-1. The breaking ball on the outer half, and Melky's behind 1-2. Melky Cabrera has 17 multi-hit games. That's first in the American League. Mike Trout is tied for third with 14 multi-hit games. Breaking ball bounced to third. John McDonald. In time, 2 quick outs for Tyler Skaggs. 2 ground ball outs here in the first inning. Skaggs has got pretty good movement on that fastball, but now he's got to deal with a wicked right-handed batter. Bautista batting .297 for the season. 7 doubles, 9 homers. He's driven in 23. He too looks at the first pitch. Everybody just trying to get a feel for what they're dealing with.
Hitters taking a look early in the game here, and we've seen his fastball, we've seen his curveball, and his changeup already in the first inning. And that can benefit Blue Jays hitters here early on.
Just off the plate, you can see Skaggs look away as if he thought that was a strike.
Tyler Skaggs saying, Adrian Johnson, I need that pitch.
2-0. Drops that breaking ball on the outside corner. So far, he's kept everything away from Bautista. May have been the changeup. Boy, he's got that down and away area zoned in, doesn't he?
And as a pitcher, if you can continuously hit that spot, you're going to be pretty good. It's when you try to get out there and you leave the ball out over the plate against a Jose Bautista, that's when he'll hurt you.
Everything down and away. Curveball bounced in the dirt. That was a real problem last night for the Angels with Hank Conger catching Garrett Richards. Balls in the dirt were a problem. Edwin Encarnacion waits on deck. Off the end of the bat, off the glove of Skaggs. Bautista will reach first. Tyler Skaggs reached for it. It hit off his glove and went into no man's land in front of Howie Kendrick. It's an error on the pitcher.
Well, it came back to Tyler Skaggs almost like a changeup. As a pitcher, you're so close to home plate that you think that's a bullet right back at you. He put his glove up and actually just mistimed it and then just missed the baseball.
Those extra opportunities are always important for the Blue Jays. There are so many good hitters in their lineup. And here's one of them. Edwin Encarnacion has 18 extra base hits. And now he's had the advantage of watching Skaggs throw 14 pitches in this first inning. So he's got a little more information than he had at the start of the game.
And should probably bring a lot of information out of the way he approached Jose Bautista, a similar type hitter. So we'll see if he approaches Edwin the same way.
Gets ahead with a fastball. I find it interesting that the Angels are playing Encarnacion more to pull than they did Bautista. That might reflect a different approach in the way they're going to pitch him.
See, started away to Edwin right there, but he started away and stayed away to Bautista the entire at bat.
He missed his spot. He wanted that ball away. Ball on a strike. Bottom of the first inning. Jay Happ retired the side in order in the top half of the inning. With each pitch, Skaggs is giving the Blue Jays a little bit more information.
He's given the hitter, Edwin Encarnacion, more information. The longer he's up to bat there, that you see more pitches from a pitcher. The more pitches you see in an at bat, the more likely it is they may leave one over the middle of the plate.
Two and two. Skaggs was involved in two big trades. He was the draft pick and signed with the Angels, and he was traded to Arizona for Dan Herron. And then the Angels reacquired him, trading Mark Trumbo to the Diamondbacks. Breaking ball inside, and be a full count. Gianna Navarro is the DH this afternoon. He is on deck. The switch hitter will bat right-handed against Skaggs. Bautista will be off on the pitch. Full count. There's a base hit down the left field line. Bautista's hustling toward third. He's being waved home. The ball stays in the corner, and Bautista's going to score with no throw. 1-0 Jays.
The more pitches Edwin sees, the more likely that Skaggs will leave one over the plate. And that's exactly what happened with the runner Jose Bautista moving on the 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. He scores easily on Edwin's double down the left field corner. You talked about Tyler Skaggs missing that comebacker to the mound from Jose Bautista. And when you present opportunities to a Blue Jays lineup that is on fire right now, that's exactly how you will pay the price.
Too many good hitters to give the Blue Jays those extra outs. And Encarnacion cashed in the opportunity. Now Gianna Navarro hits with a runner in scoring position. Goes after the first pitch. 22-year-old Tyler Skaggs has really kind of lived and died with his fastball.
He sure has, and we've seen all 3 pitches in this first inning already, and especially for these Blue Jays hitters, that's important. It's a pitcher that they have not seen much of, but here you are already, Gianna Navarro in the lineup, the 5th hitter, and they've seen it all already, and that's a good sign for the Blue Jays moving forward.
One nothing Jays. Upstairs, it's 1-1. The Angels won each of Skaggs' first 5 starts. In doing that, he becomes a member of a rare group of left-handers that have led his team to wins in his first 5 starts. Outside. It's an impressive list for the Angels. It includes Bo Belinsky, Jared Washburn, and Scott Schoenweiss. So now Tyler Skaggs' name will be added to that list as a starter, in which the team has won each of his first 5 starts.
And he may not have gotten the win in all those games, but what that tells you is he stayed around long enough to give his team a chance to win, which is exactly what you want out of your starting pitcher.
Off the glove of Iannetta, and Encarnacion will go to third. That should be a pass ball, and the catchers have had their troubles in the first 2 games for the Angels.
Well, they sure have. We saw the struggles that Hank Conger had last night with Garrett Richardson. He has nasty stuff. We highlighted that lots last night, but you can see this fastball from Tyler Skaggs cutting in on down to Navarro, and that's that tough spot for a catcher. I call it the handcuff spot. You're not sure whether to keep your glove straight or turn it over and make that catch, and he did not turn it over, and Iannetta paid for it going off the heel of his glove.
It is a pass ball charged to Iannetta. 3-1 to Navarro. Lifts a high fly ball to center, that Mike Trout is there. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays take advantage of the error by the pitcher. Edwin Encarnacion cashes it in with the double.
Advice.
Trees are starting to get leaves on them here in southern Ontario. Group is still closed this afternoon. Howie Kendrick was on base 4 times in last night's game. He had 2 hits and was walked twice. Had a bases loaded walk in the 7th off Steve Delabar. It gave the Angels the lead. Jay Happ's fastball is running a lot on him early.
See Aaron Kratz, he caught that ball correctly, though, tried to stick it right there in the inside corner, just missing. Did not get the call from Adrian Johnson.
Kendrick lifts it into the seats down the right side. It's 2-1. Howie Kendrick, terrific hitter. He's batting cleanup today, and that has been a problem for the Angels since the injury to Josh Hamilton back on the 8th of April. They've had to mix and match in that cleanup spot. Changeup off the plate. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Jay Happ making his 2nd start of the season. Another foul down the right side.
Jay Happ got into a little trouble a couple of innings in Philadelphia, but he was able to work out of it by making a pitch, executing a pitch when he had to. Now, he had gone 12 days, almost 2 weeks before last time he had seen live hitters. So that was a tough assignment for him. So look for him to try to find a groove, find his way here today, and maybe move forward in this rotation.
Changeup ripped down the right side. It's slicing, but that's a fair ball and bounces into the seats for a ground rule double. So Howie Kendrick continues to swing a hot bat. 2 hits in last night's game. He gets a double here starting the 2nd. It's his 8th double of the season.
Ball out off the plate away, actually. Howie Kendrick still able to get the barrel on it and drive it down that right field line. Just a real good hitter. Covers the plate, and it's pretty tough for hitters to cover both sides of the plate, but Howie Kendrick's hitting them all right now.
C.J. Cron, the first baseman. Cron is just 24 years old. He's an Angels first-round pick. Cron is 8 for 20 in the early going. 3 doubles. He's driven in 3. He too shoots it down the right side. Jay Happ, not an overpowering pitcher, but he leans on his fastball a lot.
He does. He leans on his fastball a lot, mixes in the slider and curveball and the changeup as well. Here's a situation right here with Howie Kendrick on second base and nobody out. He and Eric Kratz are going to try not to allow C.J. Cron to get the runner over, so probably fastballs in, and then we just saw a changeup right there to try to get him out front. Try to get him to hit the ball to the left side of the infield.
Inside, good pitch, but they missed the inside corner. Eric Kratz wants to talk about it. You can see he was a little reluctant to put that sign down, like he had 2 or 3 pitches on his mind, so he wanted to make sure that they had chat about it.
And that's a good idea right here by Eric Kratz. You have to be 100% with the call, and you want your pitcher to pitch that selection with conviction. Make sure he is 100% behind it. The other thing is you get a runner like Howie Kendrick on second base, and when they're out there for several pitches, runners on second base are not afraid to peek in at those signs. Catchers will give a series of signs with a runner on second base, but veteran type base runners out there like to peek in, and after 3 and 4 pitches they may see a sequence and be able to figure out. If they do, they have several different subtle ways to relay those signs to the hitter. See Howie Kendrick peering in very closely at Eric Kratz's signs.
Foul back. C.J. Cron started out the season in AAA. He hit .319 in the Pacific Coast League at Salt Lake City in 28 games for his promotion. He's got some power. He hit 12 doubles, a triple, and 6 home runs in those 28 games. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Getz wanted the ball, but Kendrick gets back quickly at second base. Getz is really shadowing Kendrick. Thrown just a little bit late on that fastball.
It's not a bad idea by Chris Getz right there, just to show Kendrick that they are thinking about him. Put that into a base runner's mind. Probably eliminate the idea if they are thinking of stealing third base at any point in time.
Ground ball up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit. Kendrick coming around third, and he'll score. A good at bat by C.J. Cron drives in the Angels' first run, and we're all tied up.
Well, we saw this with Dustin McGowan last night. Jay Happ made a pretty good pitch right here. He got the fastball in, but just a good job by Cron getting inside that ball. And with this artificial surface, again, that ball just accelerates through the infield. Pretty good pitch, tied him up. Got him to hit it to the left side, but you can't be perfect with everything. Not a bad pitch, but unfortunately the hitter beat him in that situation.
Howie Kendrick with the leadoff double comes around to score on the single. Still nobody out. The catcher, Chris Iannetta. This is a tough test for Jay Happ. Last time he pitched against the Phillies with a bunch of lefty bats in the lineup. Ben Revere, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard. All left-handed hitters. 2-0. Chris Iannetta. This is his 3rd year with the Angels. He spent 6 years in Colorado with the Rockies. There's a drive to left field. This ball is up and gone. Chris Iannetta with a 2-run home run. Double, single, 2-run homer here in the second for the Angels.
Well, you said it. Jay Happ's going to face a lot more right-handed hitters this game, and he was able to tame Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, who revered with the Phillies that day, especially with that curveball. Today he's going to need to get that fastball inside and tie them up, but that time Chris Iannetta just jumped all over his fastball, down and in, just dropped the barrel on it.
That's the 42nd home run the Angels have hit. They're second to the Blue Jays in that department. For Iannetta, that's his 3rd homer of the season. Grant Green takes a strike. Green is starting in left field. Ball missed downstairs. Green originally was drafted by Oakland. He was traded last July to the Angels for Alberto Callaspo. Trade that really helped the A's down the stretch, as Callaspo was versatile, played 3rd and 2nd for them. Popped up down the right side, and that's out of play. Green, like Crone, started out in AAA this year. He was hitting .349 when he was promoted. Two-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and Green knew it. Couldn't pull the trigger. The Blue Jays lost last night to the Angels, and it's a trend that they'd like to reverse. Over the last 14 meetings, the Angels have won 11 of the 14. They've outpitched the Blue Jays. They've outhit the Blue Jays. They've outscored them. And they've really beaten them in every category.
Well, and it's games like last night. When you see numbers like that where a team dominates another team, it just seems as though they find ways to win. And last night was a perfect example of that yet again.
Colin Cowgill had an RBI in the game last night. There's another base hit to center. That's 4 hits this inning for the Angels against Jay Happ. He had a perfect inning in the first, retired the side in order. Different story here in the second.
He just really doesn't have a pitch to neutralize right-handed batters. Against the lefties, we saw how that curveball worked.
Line drive into center. John McDonald, and you can hear the crowd acknowledging his return. McDonald was such a popular player for the Blue Jays. Super utility player. And he has bounced around and been a good player wherever he's landed. Batting 9th, playing 3rd. Strike 1 to McDonald. McDonald had one of the most emotional at-bats in Blue Jays franchise history. Father's Day 2010. His father had recently passed away. It was his first at-bat since his father died. And his last words to John were, "Hit a home run for me." And wouldn't you know it, he got a pinch hit at bat and hit a home run against the Giants. And with not a dry eye in the house.
I can imagine. What a great story. What a great player, John McDonald.
You know what he is? He's just one of those guys that plays beyond his ability. Signed a minor league contract with the Angels. 0-2, 1 out. Downstairs. McDonald signed initially with the Indians. Played with the Blue Jays on 2 different occasions. I spoke to him this morning. He said Last year was a terrific experience finishing up with the Boston Red Sox, watching them play down the stretch and throughout the playoffs. He said, I'll never forget a moment of that, even though he didn't play much. He was part of the team.
Yeah, be part of that. Was a special season for the Red Sox and for John McDowell after a long career, too, to be a special part of a team like that.
There goes Cowgill. A hit and run was on, and McDonald fouls it into the seats.
As you say, he just plays beyond his abilities. He's not the type of player that scouts would see and start drooling over. He's a guy, he's just a blue-collar guy, comes to work every day and just keeps finding himself on big league rosters.
Said playing with Omar Vizquel helped him more than anything throughout his career. Just watching Vizquel practice. Strike 3. Inside corner, 2 strikeouts for half this inning. He strikes out Grant Green. Now he gets John McDonald.
And for me, if J-Happ is going to have a pitch that he has to have, it's a fastball inside to these right-handed batters. If he can bury the fastball in there consistently, it opens up the plate to throw the two-seamer or the changeup away. Of course, he can mix in the curveball, which could be a strikeout pitch, but you have to establish fastball in to have that side of the plate.
There's another base hit. Ibar pokes it through the right side. Cowgill's going first to third. That's the 5th hit of the inning. And Ibar just reached out and poked it through that big hole on the right side of the infield.
Again, not a bad pitch by J-Happ, just throwing it out there. First pitch. Again, probably off the plate away. Eric Ibar sticks it out and uses that quick surface to shoot it into right field.
Pete Walker recognizes that Happ has thrown 28 pitches this inning. So he comes out to give him a little breather and see if he can help him regroup. So the batter is Mike Trout. He struck out his first time up, but last night in the 3rd inning it was a different story.
He got Dustin McGowan's slider that kind of hung and spun in the middle inside portion of the plate, and you do not want to miss to Mike Trout in that area with a hanging slider.
Angels have scored 3 runs to erase a Blue Jays 1-0 lead. Breaking ball for a strike.
And that's a good time to use that curveball. Try to get us to get me over curveball for a first pitch strike.
One and one.
It's a good idea. As I said, he has to get that fastball in there, but when you miss, at least it sends a message, and still Mike Trout knows he's coming in there, so it does open up that other part of the plate. But that's why pitching is so difficult, but especially against a hitter like Mike Trout. You have to execute your pitches.
Pulled foul down the left field line. It was out in front of that off-speed pitch.
It's that down and in zone. We talked about that last night. That's the red hot zone for Mike Trout. That's where he hits most of his home runs. So as a left-hander, J-Happ's got to be very careful with that curveball coming down and in on Trout.
Struck him out on a high fastball back in the 1st inning. Checking in on Ibar. Ibar just 1 stolen base. He's been caught 3 times. Just in case. The main focus needs to be, of course, on Mike Trout.
And that's what happens. You get a little speed over there on first base, and there's 2 outs, so it's a good time maybe to send a runner, see if the Blue Jays will throw, get speed on the bases. But as a pitcher, J-Happ needs to focus on the hitter, especially when it's Mike Trout standing in that batter's box.
Took a shot at the outside corner. He didn't get the call. Pretty good pitch.
Pitchers will do a good job holding runners on, and they understand the importance. Of course, pitching coaches talk about it all the time, but At the same time, they have to remember the importance of, again, throwing that ball with conviction to home plate. You do not want to miss a spot with somebody like Trout up there. So if you're going to come in there, it has to get in there.
Off the plate inside.
Good pitch, though, by Jay Happ. That's where you want to miss. If you're going to miss with your fastball coming in there, Eric Kratz setting up inside. You don't want to miss on the plate. He's doing a good job getting it in there. If you're going to miss, make sure it's inside.
Cowgill singled. He's now at third base. Ibar with his first hit. He'll be off on the pitch. There he goes. The ball is bounced in the dirt for ball 4. So now, the worst possible scenario, bases loaded, 2 outs, and Albert Pujols making his way to the plate.
Unfortunately, Jay Happ just doesn't have a lot of room for error. He made a good pitch coming in there to Mike Trout, but he misses off the plate. Now you're hesitant to come back in there because you were just there. When a good hitter sees a couple of pitches in a row, same speed, same location, they'll eventually be on it.
Todd Redmond starts to loosen up. Albert Pujols has 12 career grand slams. He's had success against Jay Happ in the past. Coming in 5 for 19 with a home run. Another ball bounced in the dirt, but you're not going to gamble with Pujols at the plate.
Third base coach Gary DeSarcina keeping him on a leash over there at third base. You've got this guy up to bat. You just let him go about his business and do his job. Good job, though, by Eric Kratz getting down there and blocking that ball, keeping it close.
The Angels have sent 9 men to the plate here in the second. High, deep drive to left. Melky Cabrera on the warning track at the wall, makes the catch. Albert Pujols flies out to left, but the Angels have taken a 3-1 lead. To take on the Angels. It's a 107 start. Take part in all the activities around the ballpark and treat mom to a great day here at Dodger Center. Call Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234 or log on to BlueJays.com to order your tickets for Mother's Day. And that young lady right there has her pink on already for tomorrow. Of course, the Major League Baseball will use pink bats, pink shoes, pink gloves, pink wristbands in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness on Mother's Day. Eric Kratz takes the first pitch strike from young Tyler Skaggs. Kratz has got some power. A couple of home runs and 6 RBIs. Kratz had a big home run here against the Phillies. His former team came in the 7th inning, a 2-run home run off of Cliff Lee. Cliff Lee and Mark Burley were hooked up in a pitcher's duel. It was 1-1 into the bottom of the 7th. Kratz got it going with that long home run to left.
Erik Kratz has some thunder in that bat, and that's what John Gibbons likes in a backup catcher. Every time he steps to the plate, he is a threat.
Bouncing ball. Kendrick was positioned up the middle. Kratz is retired, 1 down. That'll bring up Juan Francisco, who is playing at third base in the absence of Brett Lawrie. And Lawrie had a good day working out today, trying to bounce back from that hamstring strain. Stretching out, running, and there is news that Lawrie will be back very soon.
And that'd be good news for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was just heating up before he pulled that hamstring. Doing some base running drills here today with strength and conditioning coach Chris Joyner. And those hamstrings, they just have a tendency to linger and linger. So the sooner he can get back, the better. But John Gibbons thinks he's pretty close.
Juan Francisco has done an admirable job filling in at third. Provided some extra pop in this lineup. Blue Jays are the only team in baseball with 6 players with 5 or more home runs. Francisco has 5. Oh, and 2.
We talked about it in our opening. The big boys are going to hit him. Jose and Edwin are going to hit him, but Colby's off just to a crazy rate. And then you mix in Juan Francisco, the new guy who hit 18 in the National League last year, but Melky Cabrera and Brett Lawrie off to pretty early season surprises.
Skaggs throws a big breaking ball and strikes out Francisco. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
Big curveball this time. Juan Francisco after a couple of fastballs. That's a good pitch sequence right there. Down and away. That's where you want to put that pitch. If you get the swing, fine. If not, you can come back. You can double up, or you can come back inside with that fastball.
Steve Tollefson started in right field this afternoon. Tollefson has 5 hits and 11 at bats, and all 5 hits have been extra base hits. He has 3 doubles and 2 triples. Boy, Skaggs, he's done a nice job after his club got him 3 runs in the top half of the inning. That's exactly what you want from your pitcher.
Yeah, and you talk about the location of the pitches. Most important thing in pitching is location and command, and he's doing that right now. Started with the ground out this inning of Erik Kratz, fastball away, then he buries the curveball on Francisco, and then here we are with Tollefson keeping it away again, staying away from the middle of the plate.
One ball, 2 strikes. There's that big curveball. That one missed. That's the kind of curveball you don't see very often anymore.
You don't see it as much. Everything seems to be harder now, and even the hardest curveballs are still not the loopy old ones that we used to see. Hard sliders now, cutters.
Skaggs falls to a full count after being ahead. It's now 3-2, 2 outs. Right down the middle. That's the sign from Iannetta. This is off the end of the bat, looped into right field. That is caught by Cullen Cowgill. A nice sliding catch by the right fielder. Helps out his pitcher with some good D. Has had a chance to get down for a base hit. Cowgill with a good sliding catch. 3 up, 3 down. Saturday, it's Manchester City versus West Ham United. Man City, the most expensive team in England. The New York Yankees of the Premier League. They're 1 point away from clinching their second title in 3 seasons. Coverage begins tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. Great soccer action right here on Sportsnet. Saturday afternoon at Rogers Center, it's always a good crowd. Junior Jay's Saturday, lots of kids in attendance. And after this game, they'll get to run the bases, which is always a lot of fun for the kids. Howie Kendrick got things started last inning. He had a great at bat against Jay Happ and worked him for a double down the right field line. He came around to score on the single by C.J. Cron, first run of the inning. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1.
Jay Happ's going to need to be able to do that, pitching behind in the count with the off speed, almost pitching backwards a little bit. Fastball count, mixing in that curveball for a strike.
Pulled foul. Jay Happ lost to the Angels last year in September. The Angels swept the Blue Jays in September. That's his only other start against the Angels. That inside corner has been good to Jay Happ. He strikes out Kendrick. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Detroit has been kind of hot in the month of May. They finally were cooled off last night. How about Phil Hughes? Last night Hughes won his 4th straight win. He beat Justin Verlander.
Phil Hughes is heating up.
Tigers have a 4-game advantage over the White Sox in the American League Central Division.
Phil Hughes still trying to regain that form that he had earlier in his career with the Yankees.
Went back and forth with New York from the rotation to the bullpen, back to the rotation.
Good sequence of pitches by Jay Happ to get that strikeout of Kendrick after the curveball, coming in with that fastball. And again, we talk about pitch execution, and he was able to get that fastball in there and freeze him.
There's a deep drive to left field, and Melky Cabrera is going to watch this go into the seats. C.J. Cron with his first big league home run. He can hit. He's 2 for 2 this afternoon with 2 runs driven in.
And when you do not execute your pitches and leave them out over the plate, that's what good hitters will do to you. C.J. Cron jumping all over this fastball from Jay Happ. See the target down by Eric Kratz. That ball's elevated about belt high, middle limb. Not where you want to be with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball.
The Angels with 2 home runs this afternoon. We'd mentioned that these are the 2 best home run hitting clubs in the American League, the Blue Jays and the Angels. Iannetta with a 2-run home run, Cron with a solo shot.
Just puts that much more pressure on the pitcher when those guys come to the plate to make good pitches, and when pitchers try harder to make good pitches, the opposite usually happens.
This isn't the A team for the Angels either. They're missing Josh Hamilton, David Freese, and Cole Calhoun, 3 of their regulars.
Throw those 3 guys in this lineup right now.
Hamilton was off to a great start before he tore a thumb ligament sliding into first base. David Freese broke a finger in an at-bat. He was just starting to swing the bat well. Cole Calhoun sprained his ankle. There's another line drive to left off the bat of Chris Iannetta. He's 2 for 2. That's 7 hits now for the Angels. And John Givens can wait no longer. He has already made the call to the bullpen. So Jay Happ will go 2 1/3 here this afternoon. And the Angels have jumped out to an early lead, 4-1. Grant Green is the batter. Happ is done. Todd Redmond into the ball game.
On Sportsnet, brought to you by the 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Todd Redmond makes his 11th appearance of the season, but his first since May 3rd in Pittsburgh. Broken back, little soft line drive. Reyes tries to drop it, and the batter is out, according to the umpire, Larry Vanover. Broken bat liner, first pitch from Redmond. Grant Green is retired. There are 2 outs now. Colin Cowgill, the right fielder, will come to the plate. The Angels had 9 hits last night when they scored 4 runs. They have scored 4 runs already this afternoon on 7 hits. 2 home runs for the Angels. Todd Redmond, we've mentioned he has appeared in 10 games prior to this appearance, total of 19 innings, but he hasn't pitched since Pittsburgh. The Blue Jays wrapped up that final game against the Pirates.
He's being called upon here to calm the storm of the Angels for a little while here, try to get him through these middle innings.
Redmond actually pitched in the Saturday game, and he was charged with the loss against Pittsburgh. He gave up 3 runs on 2 hits late in the game. Redmond gave up a 2-run double to Neil Walker over the center fielder's head in the 8th.
One of those comebacks of the Pirates that the Blue Jays had to endure in Pittsburgh.
That was the Saturday night game. The Blue Jays were leading at 6-2 going into the bottom of the 7th. Pittsburgh scored 4 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th. One and 2. Late swing by Caugill, and he fouls it back. Well, the Blue Jays are going to have to dig down deep today. Just coming off a 5-game win streak. You lose last night, and now you're behind early. You've got to dig down deep and make sure this doesn't snowball.
Yeah, this is the kind of game right now at this point in the 3rd inning. It takes the wind out of your sails a little bit, especially after that tough loss last night. But this is where you have to dig deep and stay in this game. Todd Redmond's got to stop the bleeding right here.
There's a high fly ball into center. Bautista is in center field. He's there. The inning is over. But the Angels add a run on the home run by C.J. Cron. Take on the Cleveland Indians. The game starts at 7:07 p.m. It's the Blue Jays Grand Slam Combo Night. The combo includes one ticket to the game, hot dog, nachos, popcorn, peanuts, an apple, and a soft drink, and all of that. Tickets start at just $39. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com to order your tickets for the Blue Jays Grand Slam Combo Thursday, May 15th. So the Blue Jays trail by 3. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Jays here in their half of the third. Chris Getz, the second baseman, will lead things off. Chases that high fastball.
This guy's got the call on that first pitch fastball away to Chris Getz, and as a left-handed batter, if that left-handed pitcher can paint that outside of the plate, you're in trouble. And what it does as a hitter there is it makes Chris Getz leave the strike zone a little bit, chasing that high fastball.
There's that nasty curveball, and it's a good one. Skaggs wasn't happy with it. He wanted to bury that down and away.
Yeah, that's a good pitch if it's first pitch to a left-handed batter, but 0-2, you want to bounce that just beyond home plate there and try to get the swing.
That's a much better curveball, and he gets the desired results. 1 out.
Now batting, number 7, Jose Reyes.
OTF is just us.
It's Junior Jays Saturday, presented by Boston Pizza. As you can hear, the Junior Jays get announced in the lineups today. Just one of the many activities taking place on Junior Jays Saturday, presented by Boston Pizza. And how about that young Junior Jay rolling her R's?
Rolling those R's. Jose Reyes will be proud.
Pretty good. 1 out for Reyes, the leadoff hitter. He is discussing the strike zone with Adrian Johnson right now. Chris Getz had the same thought. And what happens when you get those balls called strikes? You have to chase pitches.
It changes your approach. We saw Jose Bautista had a little issue with that last night, and you never want to blame the umpires. That's something you have to overcome. But it does affect you as a hitter. It makes you expand your zone a little bit and start swinging at balls.
Another borderline pitch, but Reyes with 2 strikes had to go after it. He pops out to the first baseman. 2 down. Tyler Skaggs has retired 6 straight after his club got him the 3 runs in the top of the second.
And that's what Todd Redmond's going to have to do for the Blue Jays here. Get through these middle innings and just hold the Angels at bay and give his team a chance to claw back.
Redmond came in and got 2 outs to get out of the 3rd inning. 2 outs for Melky Cabrera. Well, Blue Jays now, their 2nd time through the order. A little bit more information against Tyler Skaggs. This is another pop-up. First baseman C.J. Cron is in foul ground. He makes the catch. Quick inning for Tyler Skaggs. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 4th. The Angels have a 4-1 lead. Here at Rogers Center, John McDonald batting for the first time since rejoining the club after his father passed away. Cito Gaston put him in to pinch hit, and sure enough, he hit a home run, and the emotions overwhelmed McDonald and several of his teammates, given what he went through and losing his father at a very young age. He came back, and his father had told him, hit a home run for me.
That's hard to watch, Buck. Woo. An emotional event for John McDonald, one he'll never forget.
Con Redmond throws the slider. He's quickly ahead 0-2. Redmond now has got to throw up some zeros. He's got the length to be able to do it. His longest outing this season, 3 2/3. He did that twice. There's a hanging breaking ball, and McDonald rips it foul. Joe, tell me what a hanging breaking ball is.
A hanging breaking ball, like the one we just saw, is when a pitcher gets kind of underneath the ball. When you throw a breaking ball, curveball, or a slider, you want to get your fingers on top of the baseball so that you can impart that downward spin.
John McDonald gets a fastball and rips it past Reyes into left. A leadoff single.
Finger cooked tonight. Order from over 100 menu items at bostonpizza.com. Proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We're at Rogers Center with the roof closed right next to the CN Tower. Hopefully we'll have this roof open before too long. Eric Ibar has had a good series so far. Ibar has had 4 hits in the first 2 games so far. Switch hitter batting left-handed for the first time this afternoon. Ibar's had a nice career with the Angels. He's now 30 years old. This is his 9th year with the Angels. He won a Gold Glove in 2011. That 2011 season was a good offensive season for him as well. He had a career high 30 stolen bases that year. Boy, he does a good job of just staying back and taking what the pitcher gives him.
Very good plate coverage, and that's what good hitters do. They can cover the whole area as well as the change of speeds. We talked about the breaking ball of Todd Redmond, and again, when he hangs it, you just don't get your fingers on top of the ball properly. You get your hand on the side of the baseball a little too much, and you just get that sideward spin, and it does not get any downward rotation to it.
Good Ibar just protecting that plate.
And that was a good one right there by Todd Redmond. He got that one down in the zone where he wanted to, but this is what good hitters do. They just foul them off. Good tough pitchers pitches foul them off. And again, the longer you're up to bat, the more pitches you see, more likely you're going to get a good pitch to hit.
There's a fly ball into center field. Bautista calls for it. Ibar's retired, one down. That'll bring Mike Trout to the plate. Last 2 seasons, Trout has led the majors in runs scored, more than the MVP Miguel Cabrera, more than the National League MVP Andrew McCutchen. Trout has finished twice second to Miguel Cabrera in the MVP voting.
There's one big guy in Detroit that's keeping Mike Trout back from winning even more awards, but he gets on base so much. Just a complete player, Mike Trout.
And the Angels have guaranteed his future. They have signed him to a 6-year contract that starts next season. He'll make $144 million over his next 6 seasons.
And people will laugh at that, but you know, it's probably going to be a discount for the Angels.
That's hard to fathom, isn't it?
When you lock up a young player like a Mike Trout, it's hard to believe that that might be a discount.
0-1, 1 out. Ground ball. This should be 2. Reyes to second for 1. Back to first. They double up Mike Trout. Good job by Todd Redmond. He got the ball on the ground. Chris gets it second with a good turn. Reyes quickly unloads. Momentary bobble, it's short, but they still have time to double up the speedy Mike Trout. Blue Jays jersey giveaway day will take place Sunday, May 25th, when the Blue Jays take on the Oakland A's. Game time is 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive an Edwin Encarnacion or Jose Bautista promotional replica jersey. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. or log online to BlueJays.com and come out and pick up your promotional replica Blue Jays jersey. Could be number 19, could be number 10. Who knows? Both are very popular numbers, obviously. So the Blue Jays got some work to do against Tyler Skaggs. Skaggs, after getting those 3 runs in the top of the second, has retired 7 straight. High pop up. Right side. Howie Kendrick calls off the first baseman and takes the catch in shallow right.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Edwin Encarnacion has the Blue Jays RBI. Had an RBI double in the first. Pops this one up. High fly ball to left. Grant Green makes the catch, and there's something about Skaggs' fastball that's got a little extra skip on it.
And there's nothing you can explain, but as a hitter, when that ball's coming in, a pitcher can, the ball can just accelerate a little bit more. It may look 90 miles per hour on the scoreboard, but that might look about 94, 95 to a hitter. A ball just jumps on you a little quick. You can see the pop-ups right there by both Bautista and Encarnacion, just not able to get to those pitches.
Frustrating when you see it right there and it's a hittable pitch in your mind, and then you pop it up. Johnny Navarro takes his strike. Navarro is the DH this afternoon. He has homered against Tyler Skaggs. It came last July 22nd when he was a member of the Cubs. Skaggs is in his 3rd big league season. He made it to the majors with Arizona in 2012. He made 6 starts. He made 7 starts in 2013. With the Diamondbacks, he was a combined 3-6 with an ERA over 5. One and two. Bouncing ball up the middle. Howie Kendrick on the shortstop side of second has plenty of time and throws Navarro out. 3 up, 3 down. 10 straight retired by Tyler Skaggs. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie. Conference Zone, our guest of TD. Welcome to the ballpark. It's a good ball game so far, and over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are folks from Camp Uchikeas. Welcome to the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, and I'm glad you're here. Hoping you're having a good time at the old ballpark. The Angels have had a good time so far. They've scored 4 runs on 8 hits. Blue Jays have shut out Albert Pujols so far. He's 0 for 2. Drives this ball to right, and this ball is going to go past Thomason all the way to the wall. He plays it off the wall. Pujols is headed for second with a stand-up leadoff double. Tremendous plate coverage, power to all fields, and Albert Pujols has been doing this his whole career.
And that's why these kinds of hitters are so difficult to pitch to. Not a bad pitch down and out over the plate, but Albert Pujols just drills that ball in the right field corner there, gets to the wall, and he's able to get 2 on it.
Pujols spent 11 years with the Cardinals in St. Louis. He was a .328 career hitter for the Cards and hit 445 home runs. Howie Kendrick trying to shoot the ball on the right side.
And that's the hanging off speed pitch we're talking about right there. That's not where Todd Redmond wants that pitch. You want that downward rotation on the ball. Anytime you leave an off speed pitch up and out over the plate, that's danger zone. That's the happy zone, especially for Howie Kendrick.
Got that ball inside. 0-2. Redmond has been a strike thrower for the most part. He has been a guy that will come in and pound that strike zone and take his chances.
And when he's good, he's locating that fastball right there, just like that last pitch at 91. He's getting it in there with the off speed, and he can be successful. It's when he leaves that ball elevated flat over the middle of the plate, like any pitcher, he gets in trouble.
Dropped down a little bit, but didn't get the ball where he wanted it. It's 1-2. Blue Jays in need of some zeros. They've got to put some zeros on the board and give their offense a chance to get back in this game.
Good off-speed pitch there down in the zone, and that's where Todd Redmond wants to live. Stay down there. Any pitcher will tell you that when you start elevating the ball, especially with those off-speed pitches, that's when you're going to be in trouble. Trying not to let Kendrick advance the runner here with nobody out.
And Kendrick does exactly that. What a good piece of hitting. That's your cleanup hitter doing that. Pujols goes to third, 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
What a good piece of hitting right here by Howie Kendrick. And Kendrick realizes, see him keep his hands inside the baseball to hit that ball to the right side of the field. He understands the importance of adding on a run right here for the Angels.
Howie Kendrick took a peek at Albert Pujols after he hit that ball just to make sure he was going to go to third. I'm doing my job. You do your job.
That's right. That's for you, Albert. A very unselfish hitting right there by Howie Kendrick. Again, understanding tacking on runs right here for the Angels is a good thing with Skaggs throwing the ball the way he is.
C.J. Cron, the rookie, off to a great start this afternoon. He had an RBI single in the second, hit his first big league home run in the third. Now Eric Kratz going to talk about it, and obviously they're just learning about C.J. Cron.
C.J. Cron got a J-Hop fastball up and out over the plate. He knew it right when he hit it. You saw the little bat flip. Feels pretty good when that ball leaves your bat. You know it's in the center field seats.
Pretty good numbers to start out your big league career. He stays in the middle of the field pretty effectively too.
Well, Eric Kratz went and had a little chat with Todd Redmond, and what they're discussing right there is with the infield in, the whole idea here is to try to tie this hitter up, try not to let his arms get extended. With the drawn in infield, all you have to do is barrel the ball to get it out towards the outfield to score this run. They're going to try to tie him up. You know, Eric Kratz likes to come inside hard, So he may try to chase away with the slider, but ultimately get him inside with a hard fastball.
There's the chase pitch, and he got it down and away.
And that's the pitch sequence right there. You can show the fastball. He was able to get him out with the slider. If he misses right there, Eric Kratz is already thinking a pitch ahead. If he misses with the slider, we'll come back fastball in, but Todd Redmond located that perfectly. And that's getting on top of the baseball. We talked about that downward rotation when you get that ball spinning down and away from the right-hand batter.
Todd Redmond trying to strand Pujols at third. Casaneta takes strike one. Iannetta's homered and singled. A little more depth to the slider now.
That's better. When you get on top, he gets his fingers on top of that baseball. That's that depth we're talking about. And depth is that downward rotation.
Another breaking ball. This time it's fouled off. Redmond stranded a base runner in the third. He inherited a base runner and was able to strand it. And then he got the double play to end the fourth, stranded a base runner. He's got a chance to do the same here in the fifth.
Todd Redmond dropping down a little bit. You see them going to the fastball there after a couple of sliders. It's important not to throw the same pitch in the same location 3 times in a row. Good hitters will be on that, especially if it's the same velocity. So that way you mix in a different look too by dropping down and the harder speed with the fastball.
Slider is lifted into center. Bautista calls for it. Todd Redmond leaves Pujols on base. Pujols had a leadoff double but can't score. Redmond's doing his job. Now it's up to the hitters. For the biggest at-bats in every game-changing play. Blue Jays in 60 seconds after every game. Only on Sportsnet. Two outs off the bat of Edwin Encarnacion. Tyler Skaggs has retired 10 straight. Eric Kratz with a mighty swing and pops it well out of play.
Tyler Skaggs has stayed away from the middle of the plate today, just really locating the ball very well. and avoiding solid contact. After the double by Edwin Encarnacion in the first inning, he's just cruised through the Blue Jays lineup.
Garrett Richards, the starter in last night's game, held the Jays to 5 hits over 7 innings. He left with the lead, 3-2, but Jose Reyes tied it up in the 8th. The Angels would win it with a run in the 9th. Garrett Richards is a good-looking young pitcher.
What a good-looking young arm he has. Good movement, cutting it, sinking it, good breaking ball.
Kratz bounces it to third. Nice play by McDonald. He'll use the turf. He's done it for years. McDonald knew he had to unload in a hurry from deep third.
That's the good veteran presence of John McDonald right there. Also knowing your base runner, knowing Erik Kratz is going to be lumbering down that first baseline, not the fleetest of foot. He knows he can set his feet, and he purposely uses the artificial turf to one-hop that throw to first base. No point in getting there in the air. Nice one-hop off the carpet. He's played here. He knows that it's going to give a nice hop at first base for C.J. Cron.
McDonald filling in at third in the absence of David Freese. Juan Francisco struck out in his first time up. Francisco has struck out 4 straight at bats now. And you will get this with Francisco. He'll be streaky. He's got a home run hitter's swing.
He's a power type guy. It's going to happen. What has impressed me about Francisco so far this year, though, is he's thrown some pretty good at-bats together as well. He's worked some walks. He's lined some singles. He's looked like more of a complete hitter than his career numbers show. So it may be a matter of time where this levels out a little bit and he goes back to the Juan Francisco that he is, which isn't a bad thing. He's got his strengths.
Well, that's good curveball.
That was
and
sharp.
Francisco waited back on it. Been a tough couple of days for Kevin Seitzer trying to help his hitters battle 2 good starters. And then the fastball locks him up.
And that's the sequence of pitches right there that we talk about. Good game calling right there by Chris Iannetta. The slow, long, loopy curveball down and away, but then that fastball right there, and we talked about it earlier. That fastball looks about 97 miles per hour to Juan Francisco after the big looping curveball that he swung and missed.
2 outs. Steve Tollefson, the right fielder. He goes after the first pitch and pops it over the Angels dugout. Bautista and Seitzer talking about what their hitters are dealing with today. That's the first time that they have seen Tyler Skaggs. Right there, Seitzer's talking about the changeup.
Changeup, looking for different things in his delivery where you may pick up the pitch. And the hitters are always looking for an edge. Kevin Seitzer watching Skaggs carefully.
Well, right now he is throwing nothing but strikes. Blue Jays haven't had a base runner since the first. Good slow curveball.
Good slow curveball. Skaggs missed his spot again. Watch the sign by Chris Iannetta. He asked for the curveball, but again, a lot of times with 2 strikes, he'll let him know he's not trying to hide it from anyone. He points to the ground with his glove and he wants that ball buried. Sure enough, you see the eye contact that goes on between pitchers and catchers. They give little signals back and forth. See if he goes back to that curveball or he comes back hard. Always giving that extra little nod. There he goes. Yeah, hey, middle of the plate, get this thing. He's telling everybody he's throwing a curveball right here.
That was great. He gave him the sign and said, hey, you're around it. And then he shows him.
I mean, that's a pitching coach behind the plate right there. And that's what a good catcher will do, is guiding a pitcher through this. But being able to give little tidbits. And he's not being very subtle at all. It's right there front and center for the nation to see. But when your pitcher's throwing so well, he doesn't care if everybody knows.
Fastball foul back. He gets back to if a pitcher executes his pitches, it doesn't make any difference if you know.
Especially the way Tyler Skaggs is throwing the ball today with that curveball. When he executes curveball the way he wants to, it usually gets down there, and it's very. There he goes again. I don't think I've seen it this obvious.
So Iannetta offered a couple pitches. Skaggs shook him off, and now they're having a stare down.
You might as well. Iannetta may just tell Tollefson what's coming here soon.
That was a slider, a buried cutter, and Skaggs wasn't pleased with that last pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Look at Iannetta continues to say, now calm down.
He should count his trips to the mound.
Another foul back.
He says, there you go. That a boy. Way to get it in there the way I asked for it.
For a catcher, Tyler Skaggs is like a big pile of new clay.
Just molding him as he goes here. But Chris Iannetta is just showing the importance of the pitcher-catcher relationship right here and helping a pitcher through a ball game. Those are just fake nods right now. He's saying just nod so the hitter just starts second guessing and triple guessing here.
That was interesting. Iannetta shook twice before he offered a sign. Then he wanted the fastball, and he called it twice.
And he called it twice. A lot of times those fake nods are just to get the hitter thinking. Again, it's a chess match out there. The hitter's always thinking, what do you think he's going to come back with now after that breaking ball? Is he going to double up with it, or is he going to come hard? He's already telling him right now. If he throws a curveball right, yeah, there's the deke. So now the deke's in. He says curveball, now he's coming with the fastball.
Good pickup.
The catchers will sometimes do that, call an 0-2 curveball and pat the ground with the mitt just to make sure they bury it. But other times I've seen them do that or point up to elevate a fastball and actually go down. So sometimes they're telling the truth, other times they're deking, and that's why you can't trust those guys behind the dish.
Sneaky catchers. Wow, what a curveball. Steve Tollefson strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Skaggs has retired 13 straight. Here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Broadcast auction is coming up next week, and one of the great prizes up for bid is a collection of Blue Jays memorabilia, including a team-signed jersey, game-used equipment, special Carlos Delgado memorabilia. Sportsnet charity broadcast auction, May 15th, right here on Sportsnet. Todd Redmond has been able to leave some base runners on since he's come in. He has worked 2 2/3 already. Bottom third of the Angel lineup, Grant Green, Colin Cowgill, and John McDonald. There's a Tapper foul at the third baseline. This is one of the most important roles in a bullpen.
Well, sure is. Well, and that's what John Gibbons is asking of Todd Redmond today, is to keep us in it. And that's exactly what Redmond's doing. Allow this red hot lineup that's been cooled against the Angels to try to come back.
Oh, Grant Green just reached out and stroked that slider into right.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Leadoff single here in the 6th for the Angels. Now the right fielder, Colin Cowgill, going back. Todd Redmond got a double play back in the 4th. He could use one right here. Every time you have to work to the top 3 in this batting order, you're asking for trouble.
Well, you certainly want Trout and Pujols to come up without runners on base, but the issue is trying to get Eric Aybar.
There goes the runner. The hit and run is on, and the throw to second is in time. Good play by Chris Getz. He took the short hop throw and put the tag on the runner. Grant Green is caught.
Nice job by Chris Getz right there. Eric Kratz may have rushed this throw just a little bit. It's a hit and run. No. Short hop throw. Eric Kratz has a real good arm, but that's a big play right there by Chris Getz. When you've got a runner dead and he bounces the throw, if Getz doesn't come up with that, Dino Ebel is going to question this call.
Dino Ebel is out to check. That is Rick Eckstein, David Eckstein's brother, who is a coach on this staff, and wants the leg and the tag. Boy, by that replay, it's hard to tell, and Dino Ebel has given up the argument. He will concede the out at second base. So the call on the field stands. Larry Vanover is the umpire at second. He's the crew chief. So many of those plays are so tough to tell, even with slow motion.
Imagine what the umpires have to do out there. But nice pick by Chris Getz. It looked like the tag was high up on his leg, but the foot may not have been in yet.
Popped up behind shortstop. Chris Getz is not going to get there. Bautista plays it on a hop. Colin Cowgill with a little pop flare into center field. Picks up another hit.
Good pitch. You can see Todd Redmond coming inside with the fastball catcher. Eric Kratz getting in there, and he executed the pitch. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Good piece of hitting right there by Cowgill, pulling the hands in.
The Angels have 11 hits now. Cowgill has a pair. Don't be surprised if the Angels play hit and run right here with John McDonald.
It's your perfect candidate at the plate, I think.
Outside. Kratz threw out Grant Green for the first out of this inning.
Eric Kratz looking into the dugout right there. You're going to look into the dugout to the manager. They're going to give signs to control the running game. That's to either throw over, pitch out, hold and step off.
Donald pops it up. That's behind the Angel dugout.
Sometimes it's the manager in the dugout that'll give the signs. Sometimes it's the bench coach, but there'll be a coach assigned to that role.
DeMarlo Hale is looking at the third base coach, and he will go through the signs now to Eric Kratz.
That thumbs to throw over to first base. Universal sign for a lot of catchers. Fist is usually the pitch out.
Years ago, that thumb was knock the hitter down. We don't do that anymore. Upstairs, it's 2-1. Yeah, managers used to stand in a dugout and it just flip that thumb at you and go, okay, flip this guy. You'd give the thumb to the pitcher and he'd knock him down.
Old-time baseball.
It's no longer a part of the game. Angels lead at 4-1. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 11-1. There goes the runner. McDonald gets the bat on the ball. He protects the base runner. He is out 1-3. Now there are 2 outs. With Next Issue, get unlimited access to over 100 of the world's best magazines on your tablet. Baseball fans, sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Well, Todd Redmond trying to do it for a 4th consecutive inning. That's strand a base runner. He's got a runner in scoring position at second, Colin Cowgill. McDonald is out 3-1 on the hit and run. Now Eric Ibar. He's been a tough out for the Jays. He's aggressive too.
He swings the bat. And this is not a situation where you pitch around a lefty to get to the righty on deck with the open base, because the guy on deck happens to be a pretty good hitter. And the guy behind him. This is the hitter you want right here, as difficult as it's been to get Eric Ibar.
Way outside. Ball and a strike. We're in the 6th inning. Todd Redmond in relief of Jay Happ, who went 2 1/3. The Angels touched up Happ 4 runs on 7 hits, and they hit 2 home runs. Ibar stays back. He never gets out in front. He's always patient, waiting for that ball to come to him.
He really lets the ball travel. Good hitters are not afraid to let the ball get deep. And when I say that, what it is, it doesn't mean you want the ball to get deep in your stance. You always want to hit the ball out front, but even the ball that you hit the other way is actually at about the front of your stance. And then middle, it's a little further out front, and then the ball you pull is out front in the middle half.
He wouldn't chase that breaking ball.
And that's the other thing. When you let the ball travel, you see the ball better, you see the ball longer. So you're less likely to jump out. Just good hitters, and these are the types of hitters that are really pesky. It's very difficult to get them.
Just off the plate, full count.
Todd Redmond likes to drop down once in a while, and when he does it, that's a very good pitch right there, just missing on the inside corner. What it does is it provides a different look to the hitter. So if Eric Ibar has not seen that angle yet, as he's coming through with that baseball with his delivery, it's a different look to the hitter, and that's what you have to do to good hitters. Good pitch by Redmond just to not get the call in there.
Bouncing ball. Reyes coming in from short. Quick throw. Wild at first. And a run's going to come in to score. Reyes' throw was up the first baseline. Pulled Encarnacion off the base. He couldn't make a play. Cowgill scores from second. Ibar was hustling down the first base line. He reaches on the bad throw by Jose Reyes.
Good pitch by Todd Redmond. He did exactly what he wanted, but this is what speed does to a defense. Jose Reyes knows he has to hurry with the speedy Ibar getting down the line at first base, and in doing so, he did not finish that throw and made Edwin go diving for it, but that's what speed does. Eric Ibar getting the run in for the Angels.
It's an infield hit for Ibar, an error on Reyes that allows Cowgill to score. And Mike Trout takes a first pitch strike. Trout drives it to left field. Melky Cabrera is there. The inning is over, but the Angels add a run on the Reyes throwing error. Blue Jays go to the bottom of the sixth, trailing 5-1. Enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Well, the MLB at bat would tell you right now the Blue Jays are in tough against Tyler Skaggs. He's retired 13 straight. They have one hit. That was a broken bat double back in the first inning off the bat of Edwin Encarnacion. He's only struck out 3, but he has been overpowered.
It's good stuff all day. Real good location. Todd Redmond's done a great job coming out of the bullpen, keeping this game close. But the problem for the Blue Jays is they still have to figure out Tyler Skaggs.
Chris Getz grounded out to the first baseman back in the third inning. The Blue Jays certainly have enough home run power to erase any deficit. But right now they need some base runners, get something going. Cut on a miss by Getz. It's 1-2. Good crowd here on Saturday afternoon. 31,412 at Rogers Center. It's Junior J Saturday. It's always a popular attraction, but the Angels are in town. The Blue Jays have been playing good baseball, and the crowd has come out. That curveball is upstairs. Chris Ionetta has done a good job with Tyler Skaggs today.
He sure has. What a good assistant pitching coach behind the plate today. Ionetta's just been really good guiding him through. Of course, he has great stuff, Skaggs, but under the direction and tutelage of Ionetta today, he's been great.
Broken bat off the curveball. Howie Kendrick throws to Crone, 1 down. So Jose Reyes, he, like so many of his Blue Jay teammates, 0 for so far today, but last night was a different story.
Jose Reyes got these Blue Jays right back in it. With that fastball from reliever Joe Smith, he hit a line drive over that right field wall. And that's what you want to see back from Jose Reyes, that short, compact swing.
Reyes had a single, a double, and a home run in 4 at-bats last night. 0 for 2 so far. Blue Jays have hit an awful lot of pop flies, foul backs, and pop-ups on the infield. Tells you that fastball is pretty effective.
The elevated fastball looks good to a hitter because it's close to your eyes. Usually if it's at 88, 90 miles per hour, hitters can get on top of that ball, but they're not able to do that today with Skaggs. We've seen a lot of pop-ups and fly balls, which tells me that ball's got a little more giddy up on it than it looks.
Right at the top of the zone, and Reyes fouls it back again.
92 is good velocity, but at the same time, big league hitters can hit 92 and get on top of a high fastball at that speed. But Tyler Skaggs mixing in that curveball and changeup is making the fastball even more effective.
Another pop-up. This was the curveball, and Reyes pops out to the first baseman. 2 down.
You see how off balance, very defensive swing right there by Reyes, and that's just a pitcher upsetting a hitter's timing. That's your job as a pitcher. Hitters all timing and rhythm, and if you can upset that timing, you're going to be successful, and you're going to get swings like that from Jose Reyes.
That's 4 pop-outs on the infield for the Blue Jays. 15 straight retired by Tyler Skaggs.
Do you feel like you're watching Mark Burley a little bit right here?
With a little bit better zip.
A little more velocity.
Cabrera knows his job. He's got to get on base. Blue Jays haven't had a base runner since the first. The only 2 base runners to reach, Bautista reached on an air. Encarnacion hit a double. That's it. Cabrera drives it to right. Cowgill is there. A well hit ball, but right to the right fielder. Blue Jays have been retired. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. The next Junior Day Saturday will take place Saturday, May 24th, when the Blue Jays take on the Oakland A's. Game time is 1:07 p.m. There are special kids price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com and order your tickets for Junior Jays Saturday. Lots of activities for the kids here at the ballpark, and they're all enjoying a great time. And the crowd has been a good one. 31,412 on another Junior Jays Saturday. This is not a junior angel. This is the big man, Albert Pujols, 1 for 3 so far. He lined a double down the right field line his last time up. Esmil Rogers starts to loosen up. Todd Redmond has done a terrific job. He's limited the Angels to a single run. He came into the ball game with 1 out in the 3rd.
This is why Todd Redmond is so valuable to this club. You know, he's a guy that was fighting for that 5th starting spot and through spring training, and nobody really came forward to win that job, but key role in the bullpen getting through these types of innings.
Pujols hits a high fly ball to right. Steve Tolleson is there. He makes the catch. Tolleson today starting for the first time in his big league career in right field. He has started 6 games in left field. That came in 2012 with the Baltimore Orioles. With the Blue Jays with the left-hander on the mound. Gave Kobe Rasmus the day off. Brett Lawrie still not healthy enough to play, and Adam Lind, a left-handed bat, he too got the day off.
And with the way Tyler Skaggs has been today, I'm not sure what 9 you threw out there if it really mattered. He has just been absolutely dominant.
Changeup is in the dirt, down and away. It's 1-1. Tyler Skaggs has retired the last 16 Blue Jays he's faced. Jays haven't had a base runner since the 1st inning. They ran into a tough starter last night in Garrett Richards. Tyler Skaggs has outdone him. 6 innings of 1-hit ball. Jared Weaver will take the rubber tomorrow for the Angels. He'll go up against Drew Hutchison. Ground ball to 3rd. In time, and Kendrick is retired.
Jays have seen a couple of good young arms in this Angels rotation to start the series. Get the veterans the next 2 days.
C.J. Wilson will finish up the series for the Angels. He'll be opposed by another left-hander, Mark Burley. Wilson and Burley on Monday to close out the 4-game series. Burley at 6-1 for the season, off to a great start. C.J. Wilson 4-2. The Angels go from here to Philadelphia. They take on the Phillies in a short 2-game series before returning to the West Coast. It's a high fly ball to right. C.J. Cron lifts the fly ball to right. Good inning for Todd Redmond. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to turn things around. It'll be Bautista for the Jays. Then Edwin Encarnacion, Deanna Navarro, the middle of the order. By Baseball Canada and Little League Canada. Vancouver, BC, July 7th, 8th, and 9th at beautiful Matt Bailey Stadium. The instructors include Roberto Alomar, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, Brian McCray, and Dwayne Ward. Visit BlueJays.com/Baseball Academy for more information. The Toronto Blue Jays are proud supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. Dwayne Ward is filling in for Joe Siddle, who's with me in the TV booth. Ward is with Jerry Howarth, Tom Young in the background, a fine producer for the radio broadcast. Great to have you with us, Joe.
It is my pleasure. It's a lot of fun, Buck.
Jose Bautista, nobody's had a lot of fun in the Blue Jays lineup today. One hit. Bautista reached on an error in the first.
Third time through the lineup. This is the chance for the Blue Jays to do it. Reyes and Cabrera were not able to do it in the 6th inning, but Bautista, Encarnacion, Navarro. Third time through, you've had a pretty good look at this pitcher now.
Another pop-up behind home plate. Iannetta flips the mask away. He makes the catch, and Bautista is the first out of the bottom of the 7th. That high fastball has done wonders for Skaggs all afternoon.
Another pop-up and another elevated fastball. Not where Tyler Skaggs wants to throw that 2-0 pitch, but he got away with it. And again, it just tells me that there's something extra on his fastball, what it's doing, that these hitters are not able to get on top of that pitch.
That's 5 pop-ups on the infield now for outs. Edwin Encarnacion is the only batter between Tyler Skaggs and a no-hitter. Speaking of no-hitters, how about Yu Darvish last night? Darvish took a no-hitter into the 9th with 2 outs, and David Ortiz broke it up with a single. There's a little looper into right. Cowgill comes in. Encarnacion's retired. So Yu Darvish, for the 2nd time in his career, loses a no-hitter in the 9th with 2 outs.
So tough to do, and when Yu Darvish, I mean, if a pitcher gets that close, you have to cheer for a pitcher to get it. What an accomplishment, but it shows you how difficult. 27 outs.
There's only been 2 pitchers in the expansion era to lose no-hitters with 1 out left to go in the game. Yu Darvish and Dave Stieb.
Ooh.
Steve did it in back-to-back starts in '88. Julio Franco had a bouncing ball base hit over the second baseman for the only hit of the game. And in the next game, Jim Traber had a bad hop little flare into right. So Steve and Darvish, the only 2 pitchers to lose no-hitters with 2 outs in the 9th. Deanna Navarro goes down quietly. The Blue Jays have been totally baffled by Tyler Skaggs, and why not smile?
and in, but Jay Happ right here and just dropped the head on it, lining it over to that left field fence. Turned out to be a big hit right now. The Angels up 3-1 at the time, and they have Blue Jays have just not been able to figure out Tyler Skaggs. That's the story of the day. The Angels have been able to add a run, but
Chris Iannetta is 2 for 3 so far, and he'll face a new pitcher, Esmail Rogers, who has come in to start the 8th inning. Rogers making his 14th appearance of the season, and Rogers will try to replicate what Todd Redmond did. Redmond was outstanding. Rogers last pitched on Thursday right here against the Phillies. He came in that 12-6 ball game, and when he came in it was 12-3. He was charged with 3 runs on 2 hits in his 1 inning of work. Iannetta check and takes the ball. Todd Redmond goes 4 2/3. That's his longest relief appearance of his career. 5 innings. He was charged with 1 run. It was unearned. Iannetta lifts a high pop-up into shallow left field. Melky Cabrera had a long run. Iannetta's retired.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
The left fielder, Grant Green, goes after the first pitch. The Blue Jays are going to have to make a roster move soon. Casey Janssen started today in AA. He worked an inning through 16 pitches, 11 strikes, and had a perfect inning. Threw the ball well. So that's his 3rd rehab outing. He'll go again tomorrow in back-to-back appearances, and then probably join the Blue Jays on Monday. So they'll have to make a roster move then, and no way of knowing what the Blue Jays are thinking about who will be removed to add Casey Janssen to the roster.
Well, you look at the value of a Todd Redmond today. I don't think he's going anywhere because the first place you want to look is in that bullpen. But what he did today is normally keeping a team in the game like this, especially with the Blue Jays lineup, would allow them to get back in the game. They just haven't been able to do it today. But you cannot replace the value Todd Redmond provided today. Esmail Rogers continues to just struggle on and off.
Steve Thomason makes the catch, 2 outs. Rogers customers can watch the Blue Jays on Sportsnet live on your smartphone. Visit RogersAnyPlaceTV.com/sports to get started. Rogers Center with a good crowd on hand. Over 31,000 in attendance. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. It'll be a special promotional day, so make sure you bring mom out. Treat her to a great day at the ballpark. The Angels and Blue Jays for the 3rd game of a 4-game series. Colin Cowgill's done a nice job again today. He scored a run in the 6th. That was the only run off of Todd Redmond. It was on a throwing error by Jose Reyes. Cowgill has 2 hits. He had a single and an RBI in last night's game. A good sink on that fastball.
See the movement on that fastball right there by Esmail Rogers at 93 miles per hour. And when Esmail Rogers, this is the value he has when he has his stuff working. He's very good, real good arm, good slider, but he's just struggled to have back-to-back good outings this season. It's been tough putting 2 good outings together.
Slider hit on the ground. Nice hop for Reyes. Good job by Rogers. Angels are down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays trail 5-1. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
Angels, Blue Jays tomorrow on Sportnet.
Third game tomorrow of this 4-game series. Jared Weaver for the Angels against Drew Hutchison for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays will bat in the bottom of the 8th. They've managed just 1 run on 1 hit against Tyler Skaggs. Skaggs has given up 1 hit. That came in the first inning, a double by Edwin Encarnacion. He's managed just 3 strikeouts, but he has been in total command. John McDonald across the diamond. No problem. 1 out here in the 8th.
Tyler Skaggs just continues to pitch to contact. He's not going to overpower anybody. He's not going to blow hitters away, but he's just been staying away from the middle of the plate. Mixed his fastball in with his curveball and his changeup, and he's missed barrels all day, and he's got hitters to chase pitches out of the strike zone. He's been able to get hitters to hit his pitches, and when pitchers can do that, they're going to have a very good day, and Skaggs has just been cruising.
And he makes things easy for the pitching coach, Mike Butcher, sitting on the bench. No tough decisions here. Juan Francisco has struck out twice against Skaggs. Skaggs has 3 strikeouts. Francisco twice, and Tollison the other strikeout.
We highlighted the work of catcher Chris Iannetta earlier in the game, and again, big assist to Iannetta today, calling the game back there, just doing a wonderful job guiding him along.
Tried to check and went around to 0-2. So the old adage plays itself out in the first 2 games. Good pitching shuts down even the best hitting.
Sure does. We've seen it in the playoffs every year. You see those good close games, low scoring games. Big bopping offenses, red hot offenses can be shut down in a hurry with good pitching.
Breaking ball and gets away from Iannetta. Francisco hustling to first. The throw is in time. Francisco has struck out 3 times. Francisco has struck out 6 straight at bats going back to last night.
Well, Iannetta got down there, didn't quite get to where he wanted to block this baseball, but look at the athletic play right here, off balance throw. I'm going to say Iannetta played a little shortstop in high school maybe. As a catcher, you want to get to your knees when you call that breaking ball and get to that spot. You want to beat the ball to that spot so that you can deaden that ball. He wasn't able to do that, but real good recovery.
Steve Tollison. There's a base hit down the left field line. It'll go to the wall. Tollison is headed for second. Here's the throw to second base. Not in time. Steve Tollison with his 6th hit of the season. All extra base hits.
Steve Tollison jumped on one of these fastballs we talked about that have been a little up in the zone today that Tyler Skaggs has been getting away with, getting pop-ups, but Steve Tollison able to get on top of this one, and he's just been an extra base hitting machine for the Blue Jays since his call-up.
21 straight retired by Tyler Skaggs before that double by Tollison. The first base runner since Encarnacion's double back in the first. Chris Getz. Well, the Blue Jays have hit 21 home runs in the 7th inning or later. That's the most in the majors. And they're in big need of a home run. Getz needs to get on to turn the lineup over. Ground ball to short. Ibar will scoop it up just in time, and that'll end the inning. So Tyler Skaggs has pitched 8 innings. He's allowed just 2 hits. ninth inning here at Rogers Center. The Angels have a 5-1 lead, and Joe Siddle and I have been sitting here and watched a marvelous pitching performance from young Tyler Skaggs.
Tyler Skaggs has been very good today. He's just been dominating Blue Jays hitters. He's done it with the fastball, curveball, changeup, but he's continues to just keep hitters off balance, and he's staying away from the middle of the plate. When you stay away from the middle of the plate, you're going to miss barrels, and that's what Tyler Skaggs has done today.
The 2 hits he's given up have both been doubles, but that's been the only damage. Blue Jays just haven't been able to get anything going against Tyler Skaggs. He retired 21 straight batters between those 2 hits. John McDonald has a single today. Esmiel Rogers is the second reliever to work. Todd Redmond did a yeoman's job today, giving John Gibbons 4 2/3 innings of relief. He came in after Jay Happ was able to go just 2 1/3. Esmiel Rogers had a clean inning in the 8th. Mentioned Casey Jansen made another appearance in Double-A New Hampshire this afternoon. He threw the ball well through 16 pitches. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Acer, official partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, every once in a while you go up against pitching and all you can do is tip your cap and say, well, we just got beat today.
Well, today's one of those days. You can attribute it to a lot of things or try to figure it out, but Tyler Skaggs has just been very good and kept Blue Jays hitters off balance all day.
Skaggs is only 22 years old, but he has had 2 partial seasons in the big leagues. He was 20 years old when he made his debut with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He made 6 starts in 2012, made another 7 starts in 2013. McDonald fights off that inside pitch and hits it off his foot. What a bounce back for Tyler Skaggs. His last outing came at home against the Rangers. He lasted just 2 2/3. He gave up 6 runs on 8 hits. He gave up a home run to J.P. Arancibia in that game. And it's got to be a great feeling for him to bounce back and have such a good outing today.
And he had been very good before that, going 6 innings or 7 and 8 innings in the other start. So he's been one of the solid starters for the Angels in their rotation.
McDonald goes around. He strikes out. That's the first out. To give you an idea how dominant Tyler Skaggs was this afternoon, he's pitched 8 innings. In 4 of those innings, he's thrown less than 10 pitches.
That's being very efficient, and that's what allows you to go deeper into ball games. Now, the only thing as hitters, what you can do, hitters never want to tip their cap to a pitcher. Neither does a hitting coach. You don't like to give in like that, but that's something that through those middle innings, the only thing you can do as hitters is maybe see some pitches. But on the flip side, if you're struggling to figure a guy out, you want to try to jump on a first pitch fastball to try to get to him. So it's a catch-22 there.
Through 8 innings, Skaggs has thrown 97 pitches. Seems like Eric Ibar bats every inning. He's up for the 5th time. Two and one. That evens the count at 2-2. Tyler wouldn't chase that slider. Mike Trout is on deck. He's been held hitless today. He is 0 for 3 with a walk. One out. We're in the top of the ninth. Esmil Rogers in his second inning of relief. He's retired all 4 batters he's faced. This is popped up. Third baseman Francisco will get out of the way for the shortstop Reyes, and he makes the catch. 2 down. Looking ahead to the Blue Jays' ninth. It'll be the top of their order. Reyes, Cabrera, Bautista in the ninth. No one is throwing in the Angels bullpen. Tyler Skaggs has never thrown a complete game. He has matched his career high with 8 innings. Mike Trout takes a strike.
The best thing last night that could have happened to the Blue Jays was to see Garrett Richards get taken out of the game, and that proved to be true. Joe Smith giving up the home run to Reyes, but I don't think Tyler Skaggs is going anywhere just yet.
Mike Scioscia is not here today as he is away from the ball club for a couple of days for the graduation of his daughter out of college. Hino Ebel is the acting manager. He and Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, discussing things about where they go from this point. Inside. Two balls and 2 strikes to the Angels center fielder Mike Trout. Esmil Rogers trying to wrap up 2 good innings of relief. Hit hard, but right to Francisco. Takes his time across the diamond. Trout is retired. Rogers sets down the Angels 6 up, 6 down in his 2 innings. Jose Reyes will start things off for the Blue Jays, then Melky Cabrera. Jose Bautista, the Jays trail by 4. After every game, Mike Wilner, host of Blue Jays Talk, delivers insight and debate. Blue Jays Talk after the game on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. So good crowd here at Rogers Center this afternoon. 34,412. And they have watched the young left-hander Tyler Skaggs dominate the Blue Jays. He gave up a run in the first, an unearned run, and he committed the error. That borderline fastball has been a problem for the Blue Jays all afternoon. That high strength.
I think to complement his curveball and his changeup, Blue Jays hitters have been starting to chase that pitch most of the day, and he's gotten a lot of pop-ups, fly balls with it. It's not usually a game plan for a pitcher to pitch up in the zone. You don't normally get away with it like Tyler Skaggs has done today. But he's been very effective mixing his pitches and getting hitters to chase pitchers' pitches.
2-1. Reyes hits it down the right side. It's slicing towards the seats. It'll reach. Joe Smith is standing ready. You can see he's just kind of going along pitch by pitch with Tyler Skaggs.
Joe Smith will keep an eye on the game. If the Blue Jays were to get a runner or two, of course he would heat up a little bit quicker, but he's just going to go at the pace of the game right now.
Curveball hit on the ground. Ibar with a nice play. Not in time. Reyes gets it started. Man on, nobody out. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Connected. Here's Brendan Dunlop. Thank you, Brendan. That'll all be right after this ball game on Connected. Melky Cabrera goes after the first pitch. There's another base hit. So the first two reach here in the ninth. Back-to-back singles. The never say die Blue Jays have the power to come back anytime in a ball game. And Dino Abel has made the call. That'll be it for Tyler Skaggs, and he's disappointed. 8 innings plus 2 batters. So he'll wait another day to get his first Major League complete game. He hands the ball over in line for the win. He's allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. Joe Smith coming on to face Bautista. Joe Smith has entered the ball game. He came into the game last night in the 8th inning and gave up the game-tying home run to Jose Reyes to lead off the inning. He also gave up a single to Bautista in that same inning. Reyes started it with an infield single, and then Melky Cabrera singled right behind him. Jose Bautista up against Joe Smith. He goes after the first pitch. Bautista hit it off the end of the bat. That sweeping slider.
Joe Smith drops it down under a little bit, comes sidearm. That's his natural delivery, and the slider's just slicing, tailing away from the right-handed batter. Very important for Bautista to stay on this ball even longer. It's a different look, not a look that you normally see as a right-handed batter.
There's a broken bat. This is going to get down for a base hit. Reyes is going to score. Cabrera stops at second. Bautista with a base hit. An RBI. And now Encarnacion will step to the plate representing the tying run.
And that's exactly why a right-handed batter has to stay on this ball, keep that front side closed enough just to keep that barrel through the zone long enough. Able to get it off the end of his bat. It's a broken bat off the end. But if Jose Bautista pulls off that ball, it's a swing and a miss, strike three. That's the difference when you stay on the baseball as long as possible through the hitting zone.
Bautista now 5 for 11 against Joe Smith. Reyes got it started. He comes around and scores. Edwin takes a breaking ball for a strike. Edwin Encarnacion doubled and drove in a run in the first. Ball on the strike. Nobody out. Gloved by McDonald. Second for one. Back to first. Not in time. John McDonald took a base hit away from Edwin Encarnacion. And Edwin had to hustle down the line to keep out of the double play. And now Dino Ebel is going to come out and contest the call at first.
Well, Edwin absolutely hit this ball on the screws, and we talk about the value of it. John McDonald, he may have saved the game right there. A diving stop, getting the one out at second, almost turning the double play. Good hustle by Edwin, getting down the line, we think, to beat this ball out.
McDonald, a terrific play, and Encarnacion thought he had it past the third baseman. Cabrera moves to third base. Bautista out on the 5-4 fielder's choice. Gianna Navarro. He's the DH. He's gone 0 for 3. A lot of 0-fers in the lineup today as the Blue Jays have managed just 5 hits. Lind has grabbed a bat. Eric Kratz was the scheduled hitter, batting behind Navarro. 1 out.
Both guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but with the sidewinding Joe Smith, John Gibbons feels better look for the left-handed hitting Adam Lind.
Iannetta will take a trip to the mound to talk things over with Joe Smith. Michael Kahn is listening up for the Angels. The Angels don't have a left-handed reliever in their bullpen. Tyler Skaggs A terrific start. Leaves after giving up back-to-back singles to start the ninth.
Yonder Navarro can find a way to get on base. Got the lefty Adam Lind with some thunder in his bat, followed by Juan Francisco. That could be a big factor without a lefty in that Angels bullpen.
Base hit to right. Cabrera comes in to score. Encarnacion will stop at second. And Navarro delivers an RBI single. It's tough on a reliever to come in after such a tough starter. I don't care how good you're throwing, it's not as tough as Skaggs was.
Well, that's a tough act to follow what Tyler Skaggs did today, and Joe Smith is finding out that these Blue Jays hitters have just been percolating, just waiting to get hot here. This is a lineup that you cannot let go. It's the ninth inning, and this game is far from over.
Navarro with the RBI single turns things over to Sergio Santos, who comes in as a pinch runner. Santos began his professional career as a shortstop, so he's done this before, albeit it's been quite a while. So now Lind will pinch hit for Eric Kratz. The tying runs are on base. Lind takes it outside.
And the importance of Sergio Santos on first base right now for Navarro is he represents the tying run. If Adam Lind can find a gap or shoot him down a line, he's got a chance for Santos to score from first base to tie this ball game.
Bouncing ball. Smith goes to second for one. Back to first. Ball game. The Blue Jays fall short in the ninth. They got 4 hits. They scored 2 runs, but the double play ends it, and the comeback falls short. Tyler Skaggs pick up his 3rd win of the season.
Well, Tyler Skaggs is the story of the day right here, but the Blue Jays offense gave it a shot. Continues to show that they're never out of a ball game, and especially with the thunder in their bats coming up late here in the 9th inning. Lots of threats, but they're just not able to get it done today.
Adam Lind grounds into the game-ending double play. The Angels have taken the first 2. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. Connected coming right up. Brendan Dunlop will break it all down.